This is a powerful circle here. What a great introduction. Man, sorry, I just lost my head for a second. It's wild. I'm just meeting Steve for the first time, and I'm meeting Gordon for the first time, and I get to be here in front of this this circle. So I want to jump right in and share some powerful things with you today. And here's the way I'd like to kind of start this. I'd like for you just to kind of put your hand on the shoulder of the person next to you, and I want you to give them just a gentle shove. Just oh, come on, guys, that was a little aggressive there. It's a little gentle shove, right? Now, I want you to look back at the person that just shoved you, the person you just shoved. I want you to say to them, I want you to brace yourself and then say to them, push back. Okay, now do it. You just got shoved. Now you get a chance to shove back, right? I love to have a lot of fun. When I'm speaking, and I came up with this talk for you guys that I'm calling Push Back because life pushes at you, business pushes at you. These guys are telling the story. I've been hustling since I was a kid. I worked a full-time job when I was a teenager. My mom and dad bought an RV park, and I was mowing 44 acres of grass and weed eating and cleaning the pool and fixing water line breaks and running the store and cleaning out campfire rings and everything else. And all the way through life, I've had an amazing ride. But one thing I've realized is that you really need to, as you're on your way up, you have to toughen up, right? And business pushes. It's pushing at us, right? And we have to handle it, right? We have to be aggressive with it. We have to be aggressive with it, right? Distractions, they push at us, and hustle pushes at us. The grind, right? It pushes at us. And if you don't learn to push back, it'll steal the stuff that's most important. It'll steal your health, right? It'll steal your relationships. It'll steal your joy. And that's what this session's about. I came here really thinking about you guys. I'm looking at these handsome guys on the front row. Let's go, man. These guys are the best looking guys I've ever seen in my whole life, right on the front row here. Brendan Burchard says, he says, set your intention before you speak. And so I kind of tried to visualize all you guys, right? I was watching the stuff coming up on social, and I was trying to look at your faces and see how good you guys are dressed and looking at your smiles and listening to some of the speeches. And so I came here with some real care, right? I feel this very deep when I'm about to say to you. It's kind of emotional. It could get emotional, at moments, because I know what it's like to be controlled, to be handled by the forces that are in the business world, the forces of life that are just surging at us, right? And I really want everyone in this room to be able to push back and take back your time, take back your freedom, your health, your future. And so I'm going to kind of give you guys like a proposition here. I believe every real estate expert can escape unsustainable hustle is what I'm calling it today. It's unsustainable. I'm going to say something maybe you've never heard before. Don't tell Gary V on me, but hustle is not intended to last forever. And I'm going to make that point very strong today. I want you guys to escape it and to establish lasting freedom, right? That's what we're really after is freedom, right? And so I'm going to give you guys a couple of disciplines to do that. Just 3. Make it real easy for you guys to remember this. First discipline is this one right here. It's called recognition. Up at the top here, it's called spotting the traps. Recognition. You have to recognize, first of all, there's something to push back against. You have to recognize as a force, as a current that's trying to completely swallow you alive. Completely swallow you alive, And I remember some of my first pushbacks. Let's see. The signing of my first signing pen when I got into insurance sales. Anybody start in insurance sales? It's a good segue over into real estate. Anybody? Yeah, let's go, man. I was with Mutual of Omaha. They flew me out. I thought I was like 18, 19 years old. I thought I was the richest guy on earth. I was at a conference flying. They were flying me out there. I was hitting it big. And back in the day, everybody had a signing pen, right? If any of you guys started in sales, you remember the signing pen, and you needed to, and they would say, you need to treat this Yeah, those signatures, they matter, so you need to have the right signing pen, right? And I had the right signing pen. The signing pen was like one of my first pushbacks, and I'll tell you why in a second, but also my first desk that I bought from a Dungeons and Dragons dealer for $75, and I brought it upstairs into my low-income apartment. And I remember like three big guys bigger than me broke their backs trying to push that thing up the stairs, you know? But it was me pushing back. And my first laptop, you guys remember your first laptop? You were like, my God, this is gonna change my life, you know? It was a tool. My first Mike Ferry conference. It's funny, I'm gonna reference Mike Ferry several times in this talk, and I was talking to my daughter on the way here, and you know, I am a pastor as well. So I won't ask for amens, but I'll ask for yeses if you agree with things I'm saying. Everybody say yes. You know, but also it's kind of like I told her, I said, yeah, I'm going to mention Mike Ferry like 3 or 4 times. I said, mentioning Mike Ferry in a place like this is like mentioning red letters of Jesus in the church. Come on, guys, right? He is no doubt. And I'm going to tell you, I've been trying to get a message to Mike. I understand that a lot of his friends are in this room right now. I need to just get in touch with him myself. Mike Ferry definitely changed my life in the early days of business. The way that he mentored me. I remember I was in a hotel. It was in Newport Beach. It was at the Palm Desert Marriott. And I was in a restaurant there when Mike first told the crowd that he's going to open up for coaching. And I remember one of my buddies had just signed up, and he came to me, and I hadn't made it big yet, right? And he was like, take that American Express Platinum that you have that I had just gotten, you know. And he said, give it to me. I'll take it to Mike. And he takes it to Mike's table. Mike Ferry himself walks up to me. I remember I was just like, and Mike said, if you want in the schedule, you know, then you're in the schedule. And you know, so I'm going to mention him a few times in this conference right now because all of us have been impacted by this man, you know. My first life plan. Tom Ferry had me go through my first life plan. I remember jaw drop sitting there way back in the 90s and learning that there was a plan I could write for my life. And every 12 months I could advance my life forward. My first business plan. I read a Harvard book on how to write a business plan. And I remember how blown away I was. I was like, whoa, a business plan. And then I would tell people, take the time to write the plan. Like, you know, Mike always used to say, you know, and then all you have to do is what? Come on, man, that's right. Follow the plan. And now I tell people, spend disproportionate time planning. Strategy. Make sure you're not lying to yourself. Make sure the plan that you're holding in your hand is the right plan, that it's actually going to work. Because if you get the right plan, now all you truly have to do is follow it, right? My first signing pen, that was me saying I'm not dreaming anymore. I'm doing deals. Right? How many of you guys do a lot of deals in this room right now, right? Say yes. You know, my first desk was me saying, I'm not going to drift. I'm going to sit down and focus. I didn't have much, but I had that $75 desk. That guy definitely was trafficking back in the day. I mean, it was very scary. I almost didn't even make it out alive. He was like an ogre. He's like, ooh, $75. But man, I had a desk. When I got my laptop, I had tools that would make me more efficient. You know, in that conference, I didn't have to do it alone, right? What I love about Steve and Gordon and this circle that you guys are in right now is that you guys don't have to do it alone. And this is like, they didn't ask me to do this, but I don't know if anybody's here and you're not in the circle, but this circle will accelerate your growth significantly beyond your wildest dreams, you know? And you know, it's like this sign I saw in a metro one time that had a gazelle that was getting ready to get taken down by lions, and then it had the gazelle herd was over here, and it said you are here, and the lion was getting ready to take it, and it said be here in the herd. And I think that's what you get when you get in a circle like this. You grow by synergy, and it's such a powerful thing, you know. So I think every one of those moments was a pushback moment in my life, right? Because it was me pushing against limitation, against being enslaved to somebody else's schedule. There was something in me, even in my 20s, that was like, I felt like I didn't want to work by the hour all of my life. I would see people and I'd be like, I got to find a way to not have to. I saw it like making bricks, you know, like in the dead of heat, having to work by the hour, and I wanted to escape as quick as I could. And so that's why I went into entrepreneurship. And even surgeons, you look at the average surgeon makes $144 to $192 an hour, right? I remember when I got in real estate and I was getting up to the figures that they were talking about, and I was in the church and we had a couple of doctors. No, I have great respect for any professional, but there was some ego in the room, and I was thinking to myself, I make 5 times your salary. And I work 4 days a week. I'm off every Thursday and every weekend. And I start at an exact time and I end at an exact time, and I have complete control of my life, right? If you want that kind of life, say yes. If you have that kind of life, say yes, yes. So here's the thing. I think every one of us wants to push back. We don't want to be enslaved, by someone else's schedule, right? So I recognized that, and I saw early on that there was a fire in me to push back, right? And I think there's a lot of people in the room that that feel that, right? There's something inside of you that just says, man, I'm going to push back. Now look, some of you guys are probably, I don't know, maybe you're just getting started and you're in the hustle. Somebody told you to hustle and you're hustling, and it's getting you the cars that you want, it's getting you the life that you want, and you're in it. I'm just going to tell you, I've been in for a long time, and I'm saying that there's a way to have it all. And there's a way to push back all the entrapments that come with it so you can truly have it all, right? I met a guy in an Italian restaurant one time. One of my dear friends, Adrian is his name. I said to Adrian one day, he came to my table, there was not a lot of people, and I said, Adrian, do you mind if I ask? I'm a business consultant. I said, how much, do you mind if I ask a couple of questions about your business? He was a little discouraged, and he was kind of reaching out for advice. And I said, what kind of EBITDA do you have? He didn't, after I explained to him what that was, he says, I make about $80,000 a year. He's open 7 days a week. He's in there every single time I go in there. I ran the numbers on that and found out that Adrian was making $19 an hour working 7 days a week. And everyone in little towns where I'm from thinks that Adrian's one of the richest guys in town because he owns the restaurant, right? And what you find is a lot of people that are in business will feel like, wow, look at that baller out there. They got their thing on, they got their name on their car. They've got, well, if you're in the Mike Ferry community, you don't have a bench anywhere. I don't know if he ever let up on that. I haven't been in the business for a while. But I remember, man, I was like, one thing I will never do is get a park bench. So I think the first level of wealth is cash flow, right? I remember when there was a moment where all of a sudden I had so much money coming in. My account was filling up faster than I could spend it out, right? You guys all, probably everybody in this room, knows what that feels like. And then for a lot of years, I was like, well, as long as there's a lot flowing in, then I can have a lot flowing out, and I can just live like this. This is amazing, right? And if you have enough cash flow, you can feel rich at first. But here's the terror. Cash flow from hours worked means you must keep showing up every day, right? And you can't stop. You're living on an IV drip, and the fear eats at you. You have to make it every month. You can never stop, right? The highest wealth, on the other hand, is when you convert cash flow into assets, right? This is no revelation here, but I will give you a revelation in a minute. Things that run themselves, right? That pay you tomorrow whether you work or not. We've heard this. We know this. That's freedom. That's pushback. And I was a little nervous to come to this conference right now because one of the goals is to get some hustle, to give some energy back, some motivation back. I know when I go to these conferences, I'd get so jacked up and I'd be like, that's it for the next 6 months. I'm crushing. I'm going to the next level. I'm breaking through every barrier. You know what I'm talking about, right? If you don't go out of here with that kind of fire, then we failed you in some way. I can tell that you already have it though, right? I can tell that you're already getting that kind of level of a breakthrough. You guys have heard of Gary Vee. I've talked about him already. So this is the Italian restaurant guy. I'm catching up. You can look successful. Yeah, I already said that. There's the baller right there with his money, his dollars. And there's that too. And then there's Gary Vee, right? And I always appreciated Gary Vee. His message is hustle, right? It's on his t-shirts, and he's got the coolest signature that there ever was. But I want to tell you something about hustle that I've learned. I truly believe that hustle is like rocket fuel, right? And let me explain it like this. Hustle is you in the beginning, all you have is hustle. Remember when Gary said that? In the beginning, all you have, I remember when he said that one day, I was like, what does he even mean in the beginning, all you have is hustle? What does that mean? What it means is you don't have anybody working for you. You don't have a lot of skills, but what do you have? You've got hours and you've got blood, sweat, and tears, and you can hustle. And I was like, yeah, he's right. He's really right about that. But do I want to live my entire life like that, right? So the idea is that hustle is, it's your scrappiness. It's your ability to break through, right? But I wrote in my notes, and I want you guys to see this, because this is what I want you to go home with. If there's any screen you want to take a picture of, it's this one right here. I want you to really think about this. Hustle is a catalyst force, not a momentum force. Hustle is the fuselage of the rocket. You should see my notes. I've got a little rocket I drew on the plane today with little fire coming out of the bottom of it with a fuselage that's dropping off. Because the fuselage's job, that rocket fuel's job is to get that rocket into orbit. And when it gets it into orbit, its job is done. And the fuselage will drop off, right? And it parachutes down to earth. And so it gets you into orbit and it burns off. Momentum, on the other hand, right? Momentum is it comes from efficiencies. It comes from systems. It comes from people, not hustle, right? And if you try to keep running on catalyst fuel in the momentum stage, you'll burn out like this guy. That image is amazing. He's actually dead. It's very sad. He just hustled too much too long, and the poor guy, I don't know if that's black blood, because he turned evil in the whole process of it. It's black blood all over the desk and the wall right there. He's gone. And so what I would say to you guys is that every pivot in business, every pivot, because somebody goes, well, you're going to need to hustle more than once, right? Maybe some of you guys are getting ready to go to the next level, and this is what I want to tell you is really exciting, because I give you permission to hustle if you're pivoting right now, if you're launching a new business, if you're launching a new season. You'll need hustle. It's the catalyst that will take you to a new place, right? But the idea is that each one is going to require hustle at the start. But the real question is, how fast can you push back from hustle? So the idea is that you surge with hustle, you enter momentum, and then you surge with hustle, and you enter with momentum. What you got to be careful of is that hustle will try to stay. You'll end up getting broke in hustle mode all of your life, and then the stuff that really matters starts passing away from you. Right? If you agree with me right now, say yes. Okay, good guys, thanks. One of the things I tell my clients is, before you buy a few mansions, right? Because when you get cash flow, here's what you do. My God, we got like 80 grand coming in a month. We got 100 grand coming in a month. I mean, we can get a $2 million house. I mean, I got the down payment. We can go ahead. The mortgage is going to be nothing. I can afford that. Oh, I can go get this car and I can get that. And here's what we do. We don't realize it took hustle to get to that level, right? We're still in launch mode and we're hustling. If you eat up all the hustle cash flow that you created, now guess what? You're a slave. Now you're going to have to continue to hustle forever, right? So here's something else that I want you to remember right now. And it's this right here. There's a picture of that mansion, right? And but before you buy a few mansions, and by the way, this is not, I'm not talking about investment properties. That's a different category, right? Before you buy a few mansions, purchase freedom first. So you hustle, you break through. Now you've got the cash flow. Now you've got to take your business and put it into the mode of momentum mode, where you are beginning to do other things so that you don't have to hustle forever, right? If you agree with me, say yes again. Yeah, right? So we're gonna do this. We're gonna purchase freedom, and when we purchase freedom, we mean we're gonna use profits to hire, to delegate, to systematize, and to buy back your time before you buy stuff. That's a smart way to do business. When the cash flow comes, invest in the business. The idea is you hustle. I'm working 80 hours a week, 70 hours a week. I'm hustling. We hit the new level. My God, the money's coming in. This is amazing. Nope, I'm not going to go buy this stuff yet. First, I'm going to work on efficiencies. I'm going to work on systems, SOPs for every single thing I'm doing in my company right now. I'm going to employ people. I'm going to play the masterful game of who, not how. The game of chess, not checkers, if you guys have read the book. And you're going to purchase your freedom. You're going to purchase your freedom is the first thing you want to purchase every time you're in a new level. With Ren here in a minute, I'm going to tell you, I'm hustling right now. I've been hustling for a while on this new venture. I do not intend to hustle for the rest of my life in this. I'm in catalyst burn right now. Rocket fuel baby. That's what you see happening with me. I'm on fire and I'm launching something. But before I start eating up all the distributions that come in, we'll stabilize the company, we'll create momentum, we'll make necessary hires, and I will purchase. The first rich that I'll purchase on this next level is I will purchase my freedom. And then I add that to my portfolio entrepreneurship. Can you say yes? You know? Okay, so let me just say a couple more things. So I'm going to give you a couple of disciplines. I promised that I would do that. Here's the first one. I'm going to go through this fast. First discipline is the discipline of recognition. Sorry, that was my summary statement. I apologize. I did just give you that one. And basically the idea is that I don't want you enslaved to hours, hustle, and cash flow. So you're going to push back. Look at somebody next to you and say, I'm pushing back, you know. The second one is this. You're going to restructure building systems and people, right? Remember this guy right here, Mike Ferry? Can you double your business with less time spent? I feel like I was live when Mike said that for the first time. I don't know if I was, but I remember when he said it, I was like, whoa, can I double my business with less time spent? It was like Einstein was up there. I was like, this is the greatest equation of all time. Because listen, anyone can double their business with more time spent. Anyone can do that. More time, if you want to invest more time, you can make more money. The key to the equation is with less time spent. When you say less time spent, now this requires mastery. This requires entering a momentum stage where it's going to require more than just hustle. Hustle's not going to get you there, only momentum, right? So that's the second part of the question. So anyone can make more money on more hours, you know, if they work more hours. That's not genius. The expert skill, doubling money with less time spent. So I would just say to everybody here, all the ideas you're getting in this conference right now, I hope maybe other speakers will talk about this. You know, the goal is that each one of us brings another little thing that can all be added to it, and you go home with this whole pie, right? I would just say to everyone here, whatever goals you're going to set for your year, plan on buying back 10, 20 hours, 30 hours. Come on, guys, get goosebumps on this of your life. Somebody goes, well, I love working. I love doing it. Well, I'll talk about that here in a second. But as a matter of fact, let me just say that, let me just say it right now. I've got a friend of mine, he's 80 years old. I was over at his house in Tampa a couple of years ago. He's one of the most brilliant. He bought and sold banks for a living, and he mentored me. I always tell people he's my Warren Buffett. Buffett. And, but I was watching him, and he's in his 80s now, and he's doing Sudoku puzzles for like hours a day. And I was just going, why are you doing Sudoku puzzles? He goes, it's my only defense against Alzheimer's and dementia. I got to keep working my brain. And I said, you are the smartest businessman I've ever known. Why don't you just keep running businesses? Why don't you keep building generational wealth, right? And I would present the idea to you guys. I don't want to do discredit to my mentor. But what happens a lot of times, and I can kind of speak for him because I know, when he finally left the workforce, he left probably not leveraging all of the principles, and he was very burnt out, like a lot of people do. They're like, I'm done, mic drop, I don't want to work anymore. The goal here is, and I think I've got it here on the slide, the goal is to restructure so that your work takes no more time than doing Sudoku puzzles. Come on, right? Say yes, if you agree with me right now. Fun, challenging, energizing, right? And we're building generational wealth. If you do business right, you can do it the rest of your life. You never have to stop. You know the idea, if you want to be a portfolio entrepreneur, you want to own multiple things, the idea is you hustle on 80 hours, and then at some point you go, I'm going to reduce my effort in this to less than 10 hours a week. Some people would say less than 5. If you can own something on less than 5 hours a week, now you own it. You're not managing it, you're not working it, you own it. And when you own something that makes millions of dollars and you're working less than 10 hours, now you're winning the game. You're playing it on an advanced level. Who wants to play it on the advanced level? Say yes, right? So the secret, that's a secret, right? You don't stop working, you change how you work, right? You master the art of exiting without selling. There's a book out there on that. I've never read it. The title was enough. How many of you guys ever read a book where you're like, I don't even need to read this. The title said it. Somebody's like, what about that book? I'll be honest with you, I never read it. I'm guessing on everything that's in there. The title, I'm just coming up with content but from the title, right? And so, yeah, so thank you. Thank you for that. Okay. You guys give me about 5 more minutes or so? Okay, good. So here's the deal. The pushback framework, I'll give you a simple framework right now, and I'll put it on the screen. Let's see, I don't know. Here it is, simple framework. There are better ones out here. You could chat GPT a better one right now, sitting in your chair, and write that down instead. But here's a really good framework, I think, this is a 1-year plan for everyone in this room. Like, what can I give you guys? If I had unlimited resources, what can I give you guys? And I walk away from you, like under your chair are the keys to the car of your dreams. Well, maybe today I'm saying under your chair is a framework that you can use, that you're going to come back from this conference with this drive, and you're not going to use this drive just to consume your time. You're going to use this drive to shift into momentum and build a business that you don't have to get away from, one that you can own, one that you can enjoy. So here's the way you do it. First thing you do is you identify the bottleneck. What's draining your time and energy, right? The 80-20 principle. By the way, there's another book that's, I think, better than 80-20 principle. It's called 10X is Easier Than 2X. Anybody read it? Great book, right? Look at this, man. Great people read great books. 10X is easier than 2X, but he quotes from 80-20 principle, and he basically says, we've been told 80-20 principle is choosing the 20% where all the power is, where all the wealth is, and then cutting off the 80%. But what he says in 10X is easier than 2X is, he goes, you got to keep doing that. You're going to choose now out of the 20%, you're going to choose 20%. Because the 20% becomes 100%, and this is how in a year's time, you're going to work, you're going to back yourself out of all of the, because truth is, we're the bottleneck. You know, somebody in this conference right now, you might go, well, I'm the only one that can prospect. What would Tony Robbins call that? A limiting belief. I'm the only one that can, and by the way, I'm one of the best prospectors there ever was, right, Ren? Thank you, Ren, I appreciate that. I put him on the spot. I mean, I was obsessed with it, friends. I still got cassette tapes where I set like 3 or 4 appointments on one 30-minute cassette tape. One appointment, another appointment, another appointment. When do you plan on moving? And I even over the years, I'm obsessed with it, guys. I just, if you do get to get on the phones, you're getting to do the greatest, funnest thing. And I know that's a weird thing to say, but it's fun. But I'm just going to tell you right now, if you're prospecting on the phone all of your life, you are still working by the hour. So, and as I was saying a second ago, the surgeons, 144 to 192, even if you're making $1 million a year on 40 hours a week, 52 weeks, 50 weeks out of the year or so, you are making $500 an hour. That's a lot per hour, but you are still working by the hour. You still need to work for dollars in exchange with hours, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to apply 80-20. You're going to delete, delegate, defer, and only then do, right? So you're going to look at everything in your schedule right now. What can I delete? There's a lot of things we shouldn't be doing. What can I defer? I can put it off. Don't just put it off 1 week, because then you have to call them back and put it off again. Put it off. Sorry, I can't meet with you next week. Can we reschedule for next June? Right? No. The idea is then you're going to delegate, and if anything is left, that's what you're going to do, right? You're going to push back. Everybody say push back. Second thing, you're going to update your calendar. You know, a lot of people are still working off of a block schedule that we created in that conference way back, and we need to update the calendar so that it reflects the life that we really want to have. You know the idea. You guys are experts at this. Giant calendar. If you want to put it on the wall, if you're visual, whatever you got to do, block out every weekend if you want off on the weekends. Block off all of your vacations, anniversaries, everything that you want to block off, and then give yourself a couple of days so you don't feel like working every month. You got a couple of those on there. Next thing you know, my schedule was always 202 days out of the year is what I was working. I had 160 some days off every year when I was doing one thing, right? Now my schedule is probably similar. Maybe I'm in hustle mode, so I've got a few more on, but I own and lead lots of things, right, on the same time frame. So what you're doing is you're continuing to play this game. You identify the bottleneck, you update your calendar, you develop IP in the business world when you're looking at the value of a company. A company is not just worth the revenue or the EBITDA, these numbers, it's also worth IP. One of the reasons our company has such high value right now is because we have an SOP for every single part of our company right now. We've taken the last couple of years to develop this. Somebody else could almost take this now and run the whole thing, right? It begins to take on higher value. So you're gonna invest in developing your SOPs. You want to make sure that if you want to sell your company, it's not all in your brain, that it's into systems that other people are running and other people can implement, which, by the way, you're going to empower micro CEOs. Every time someone can do it 80% as well as you, you're going to get rid of it, right? You're going to delegate it, and you're going to give it to someone else. And so the idea is, and I think this is from the book Exit. I think this is from the book Exit Without Selling. In the summary that I read on it, it was something to the effect of, I remember just being like, "Oh, I'm knocking that in. That's amazing." And it is this idea of you're gonna have a mini or a micro CEO over multiple parts of your company, and they're running pods. And the goal is that 12. I think, what do I have in there? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna test and adjust the final one. What you're gonna do is you're going to, at month 10, you're gonna test it by taking a month off. You're gonna leave your business. You're just going to go away, and then you're going to come back, and you're going to go ahead and you're going to look at it. You're going to make adjustments, and then you're going to lock that in. The final discipline, and I'll leave you guys with a little pitch from our new company right now, is this one right here. You're going to reclaim the margin, and you're going to reclaim that margin. For some of you, you might have to go back to teenage years, even when you were a child. Before the bills, before business, before the grind, right? You were a marginaire. Right? A marginaire. It's like a millionaire, but instead of money, you were rich with margin, right? You were rich with margin. And that's what we want. We want you guys not just to be millionaires, but to be marginaires, right? Free afternoons, the ability to dream, energy to do life. How many of you want to live to be over 100 years old? Yeah? Me too. I'm on a path to 125. I've created a longevity GPT. It told me how I could live to 125, not just on technologies that exist, but it told me on the timeline when new ones are supposed to be coming out, and it's going to forward me. I have a whole plan on supplements and every single part of my life to go to 125. But you've got to have time if you want to have longevity, right? It takes margin. And the other one is focus, right? Margin and focus. If you're reclaiming, you're going to need focus. Mike Ferry, again, he said, I think Mike Ferry was the one that said that we need a dream generation zone, right? You remember that? Dream generation zone. Somewhere you can go and somewhere that you can retreat and that you can build the life that you want. This is where I want to tell you about the company that Ren and I have been working on. And scoot forward there. This is the one in my backyard. We built the first version. We got some of those out. I got one sent to my house, and I was working out of that for the last 4 years, innovating every single part of a remote workspace, right? This is looking out the window, high-level luxury in every single thing that we do. And we built U-Space because we believe people need more than a pep talk. They need a tool, right? Every day you wake up, the world pushes against you. Emails, texts, calls, right? Family chaos, all the noise. I always tell people, you can have an office in your home, but you can still hear your kids. When you're in your home, you should want to be in your home, right? So we wanted to have something that you can walk out to and then turn around and come back. U-Space, I believe, is your pushback, right? It is a, yeah. Dang, I put a lot of pictures in there. I think I doubled that up right there. This is our new Solo 10. It's a private, undistracted, beautifully designed environment where you can show up. you can surge, and then you can walk barefoot back into your house, right? And the idea is that we're giving you, U-Space stands for undistracted space to build the life you want. We believe that everybody should have a space where you can build the life you want, right? So we're gonna fortify the lines between on and off, right? We're gonna remove those lines. So the goal is to have a place where you can go and surge 100% on, so that when you turn around and leave it, you can come out and surge into life 100% off, right? And be with the people that you love. This we call this the Ferrari of workspaces. Everything steel base, steel walls and ceilings, exterior panels made from the same architectural grade as in award-winning skyscrapers. We've got grade A veneers on the inside. We've got everything the floors are sound absorbing, ergonomic. Everything is voice activated and touchscreen activated. You've got spectrums of lighting and all the things, right? Climate controlled and everything. And just in case you're not broken through yet, you can even finance it. And for about 18 to 20 bucks a day, you can have this. It's less than you'll spend on coffee in coffee shops, right? I would just say this. You buy the unit, you depreciate it, you get about $10,000 back in your taxes year one. We've worked this out with our CPA. And so $10,000 back year one, and then you write off the interest on the payments, and then there's a resale value, or you can leave it with the house. You could take it with you. I can pretty much show you how you can own this and not have to pay anything for it. So today, exclusive to this audience, you can just grab that QR code. It'll take you to a page that we've created just for you guys. We'll give you $1,000 off the unit with a $250 deposit. And it is a non-refundable deposit. We'll get in touch with you in 2 weeks. We'll tell you where you're at in the timeline. We have a batch of purchasers ahead of you. But you guys, the public, there's no announcements. I've never spoken about this from my social media. I've never made a public announcement. It's the first time right here. So if you guys want to get in line for this, please get in line. I know that was probably a little stronger of a pitch than I wanted to have, but I just want to thank you for having me today. And yeah, shove somebody one more time and tell them push back, you know?